we are live. All right. Back. Okay. Awesome. All right. If anyone's here, please let me know because we're going to start pretty soon. Thanks for the like. Thanks for coming in. Let's get rid of this because don't need that. We don't need that. All right. So, thanks for coming, guys. There was a few requests yesterday asking about rules of one pocket, because a lot of times we're playing one pocket and people think that we cannot make a ball or we're fooling around or what's going on here. So today I'm going to explain the basics of the game, how it works and what's happening and why it's happening. So let's start this rolling. Everything's rolling, guys. You ready? All right. So, one pocket. Why the game is called one pocket? Because each player has only one pocket where he can score the points or the balls. In this case, if we have a rack, as it's racked for the 8-ball, but pattern is not important, stripes, solids, they're not important. Every ball is just the 1 point. So we need to score 8 balls in your designated pocket. So if the rack is placed on this side of the table, so these 2 pockets are designated pockets. How do we choose a pocket? Well, it's very simple. The person who breaks shoots at the stack or at the rack and try to push the balls towards his pocket. So usually the break determines what your pocket is. So if people play enough one pocket, they don't ask that question, because if I break from this side right here, from the left side of the table, I'm trying to push as many balls close to my pocket. But also, I'm trying not to give my opponent a shot at his pocket. So in this case, this is my pocket. Okay, sounds good. But what if someone does something like that? Okay? What if someone does something like that? Right here. Okay? So obviously this is my pocket. But in case my opponent might get confused because it's not ordinary break, I would say I'm on the right side of the table. This is my pocket, and I'll point it to him. So before I break, I'll tell him this is my pocket. Okay? So now we know whose pocket is whose. Okay, good. So we have 15 balls on the table. And to win a regular game, you need to score 8 balls in your pocket. It doesn't matter what color, numbers, stripes, solids. 8 balls must drop in your pocket. So anything that goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It goes in my pocket, I win the game. But what if my opponent scores a ball in my pocket by accident, or just trying to play a tactical game and not to give me next shot? If this is my shot, I can't kick that ball out of my pocket. So I'm the opponent, so I'm going to do this and score the ball for him. That becomes my ball also, because any ball that drops in your pocket is yours. So opponent, you don't have to call shots. You don't have to call. If you get lucky and something drops in your pocket and it happens, that becomes your ball. So what we do, we usually put our balls on our side of the pocket. So our side of the table. So if you see a situation like this, that means I have 7 and my opponent has 2. And that's why we're putting the balls down. There you go. I can show it right here. So we have 7 here and 2 here. So that means I need 1 to win the game, and he still needs 6. And we have 6 balls on the table. All I need to do is score 1. He needs to score all of them in his pocket. All right, so why the game is so complicated? It's probably one of the most complicated games in pool. We call it chess of pool, because for every shot that you take, there are a lot of outcomes. We have to control the cue ball. So if I make the ball, I want to get to the next ball. If I miss the ball and I think about it, I don't want to give my opponent a shot. So I have to play a lot of safeties. A lot of safeties. There's a lot of strategies. There's a lot of banking involved. A lot of banks. A lot of kicks. A lot of times you want to make a ball in your opponent's pocket, the ball that sits there, because you don't want to give him a chance to use that ball to get to the next, get the shape to the next ball, and so on. Okay, what happens if the ball, for example, I'm playing a simple safety, and this is my opponent's pocket. This ball looks at his pocket. We don't want him to have that, so I would do something like this, just a simple safety, and score that ball in a not a designated pocket. What happens? Okay, we spot this ball and we put it on the spot right here where the top ball goes, top ball of the rack goes. If that ball does not go on the spot, we go lower. So I have a line drawn here. So I go down the line. If I have to spot a next ball, it goes here. Another ball, it goes here. Object balls that spot it must touch each other. There can be no light in between the balls. So a lot of times you see players tapping with the butt of their cue just to keep it down so everything is tight. Okay, so any pocket except those 2, if the ball drops in any of these 4 pockets, it must be spotted. So opponent must be aware of that too, or a shooter must be aware, because he knows if the cue ball's here and you spot the ball and I have to shoot it there, obviously I can make it. So you have to be aware of pretty much anything you do. Now, fouls. What happened if we foul or we commit a foul? So fouls are the same as in a regular game, 8 ball, 9 ball, and so on. So after the contact, With the object ball, something needs to touch the rail. So cue ball touched the rail, no foul. Legal shot. So what if this happens? And that's a foul. In this case, the person that committed a foul must spot a ball from his side, of course. Okay, so we have a ball. Now, this person shoots again. He doesn't have ball on his shelf anymore. So this person shoots again and commits another foul. What happens now? Well, he goes to a negative score. And that's why we're using this coin. Any kind of coin. We put it on the first diamond of the person's side. That means he's -1. If he commits another foul, he's -2, -3, 4, 5, and so on. But, there's but. Of course there's but. 3 consecutive fouls is the loss of the game. So you cannot foul 3 times in a row. And it doesn't mean that you shooting 3 times in a row, you have a foul, then I take a shot and put you in a position where you cannot you cannot shoot, or I play a nice safety, so you commit another foul. That's 2 in a row on you. So 3 in a row, loss of the game. Now, if a person scores a ball, and for example, we're -1. I'm -1. But my opponent left me a shot. And I'm shooting. I'm sorry, I got to shoot on this side because the coin's on this side. And I'm shooting to this pocket. I made a ball. Okay? But I don't have any other shots. So I play a safety because I cannot score anything else. After end of my inning, if I made a ball and I have a coin or -1, I must spot this ball that I made. There you go. And coin goes back up. So I'm 0 again. So now I'm 0. There's a lot of strategies in the game. There's a beginning, or a start of the game part, where people, when you break the rack and you work your way out of the break, we call it, and then depends on the situation, sometimes all the balls are being pushed in the kitchen. There are a lot of different rules, but everything is pushed in the kitchen, and you have to shoot the ball to get it to your pocket out of the kitchen. Now, another foul situation. What happens if, for example, we shoot a shot and a cue ball goes in the pocket, and a cue ball drops in the pocket? Okay, that's a foul. So, in this case, we go back to the kitchen with the cue ball in the kitchen. If I fouled and I have a ball, obviously I spot the ball. If I cannot spot the ball, I'm gonna put the coin on my rail. So, if the ball goes in any of the pockets, I must shoot from the kitchen. So I can put ball in hand in the kitchen anywhere I want. And I go from here. For example, that is my pocket over there, so I'm going to try to push a few balls towards my side. I think we covered pretty much everything. The greatest book on one pocket is written by Tom Worth, and it's called One Pocket: Game of Controlled Aggression. So what does it mean? After playing One Pocket for less than a year, I joined One Pocket League. And I didn't know much about the game, but I was learning fundamentals from Mark Wilson, Jerry Bryces, and all that. So I wanted to play, and I got into the game. I had a very little knowledge of the game. I played probably 15, 25, 30 games in my life, and I joined One Pocket League with the guys that played One Pocket all their lives. But their fundamentals were not great, and they were not good shooters, but they knew every aspect of the game. Some of them better, some of them worse. So the league had a handicap, and I'm against handicap, and I didn't want to play with handicap. So, but they said, well, hey, you have to take a handicap. So I played with one of the older guys that play One Pocket there, and he evaluated my skills in my game and put me right in the middle, which was fair enough. So first 3-4 games that I played, I just wanted to make every ball that I can see. I had no clue. So I had to shoot at everything I see. I didn't know the consequences. But I was a better shooter than them, and I made quite a lot of shots. I lost games that I should never lose, and I won games that because I was a better shooter. And then I went to Florida and took lessons from Tom Worth, and that elevated my game instantly by a mile. So I started learning what One Pocket means. So I got to control my aggression. I got to control all of this. I got to understand percentages of the shots, the values of the shots, consequences of the shots. And that game sucked me in. It was so wonderful. I started enjoying it when I was playing. And my biggest enjoyment was watching people getting angry and fall apart after you play so many safeties and you torture them until they start taking a wild shot. And as soon as they take a wild shot, I could make a shot pretty much from anywhere. And that was such an enjoyment to see these guys fall apart mentally. And they played this game forever. So long story short, the league had two sides. The beginner side, which is me, and another 12 or 14 people, I don't remember, and advanced side. So the winner of each side would play in the finals. So I won a lesser skill side, and I played with the top dog in the advanced side, but it was handicapped. So I believe he had to score 9 and I had to score 6, something like that. I don't remember exactly what it was. And after the first game, and I believe I won the first game with a handicap, he just, in anger, he just screamed at me, "This is BS." I said, "What do you mean?" He says, "Your handicap is BS." And by that time, I played in the league already. It was like 2 months or maybe something like that league. And I started understanding the game. Every time I played better and better and better and better. And I got sucked into the game. And I said, listen, it's not my fault. I didn't ask for a handicap. I wanted to play straight up. But they said they cannot do it. Anyway, I beat the guy and I won the whole league. So he never came back to the league. He was so upset. Not my fault. But the game is very interesting, and if you played this, all your other games will be elevated by a mile. So here you learn how to play safeties, banks, kicks, all kinds of kicks, all kinds of banks, all kinds of safeties, strategies, the stroke, soft stroke, stronger stroke, cue ball control. Everything is magic. I love this game. So I had another question about a spot. What the spot means? The spot means if I have a lesser skilled player, it makes no sense for me to play him straight up. So straight up means I have to make 8 balls, or he has to make 8 balls. So the spot means I give him 2 balls to score less, and meanwhile I take 2 balls to score more. So the spot is 10-6, is a pretty good spot. So I have to score 2 balls more than 8. He has to score 2 balls less than 8. So 10-6, because it's 16 balls on the table, so numbers add up. 10-6, 11-5, and so on. It can be 9-7. That's a very mild spot because I only have to score 1 more and he has to score 1 less. So skills at this spot are pretty equal. Maybe the guy that you're playing a little bit worse than you. But if you see me playing Bob, for example, I'm playing 10-6 and I'm still beating him pretty good. I can lose a game or two, depends on what I'm doing. But I strongly recommend for all of you, if you want to learn one pocket, this is the book. You can find it pretty much anywhere. Tom Worth, One Pocket, A Game of Control Aggression. So this is the book. Everything about one pocket in this book. Everything. It's just unbelievable. And you cannot know this game totally. You have to, it's like open book. You just keep learning and learning and learning and learning. It never stops. So my idols, Tony Chohan in One Pocket, obviously Bustamante, Efren Reyes, Pagalayan, Shane Van Boening. Now the new power is Gorst, Filler. Those guys are pure shooters. They can dig out and muscle out of anything. They can make shots that we don't even consider taken. So they changed the game because they're pure shooters and they have so much firepower. They can run out non-stop. It's very hard to run out in this game because you shoot in everything only in one pocket. I do have a bunch of runouts in 8-ball, so they're somewhere on my channel. If you go to a playlist and find One Pocket, so that's where you can find runouts. But we're gonna practice today. I don't guarantee a run out, but we're gonna break and try to run the whole rack in one side. My best score is 10. So if I have an open shot, then I shoot it. If I don't have an open shot at my pocket, then I take ball in hand, which is much easier. But even then, it's very hard to run out in one pocket. But guys like Tony Chohan and any of those superstars, runouts are pretty easy. Also, I recommend to look at the old school videos like Danny Diliberto, Buddy Hall, Mizrak. They were all playing one pocket. So it's a great game. First, it feels like it's boring, and I always say, patience win this game. So if you're patient, if you don't take crazy shots, if you take calculated shots, smart shots, if you know who you're playing, your abilities, your opponent abilities, and you're patient, you're going to win this game. So any questions, anybody about this rules, please ask. I'm going to try to answer. I think we covered everything. So we're going to do a few racks of practice and try to run as many as we can. Again, as in any practice, in any stream, I am not trying to show off here. I'm just trying to learn and get better. So sometimes you can run only one ball, sometimes none. So this is practice, not a show. All right, here we go, guys. Oh, not many. All right, what happened to my cue stick? I understand it's Friday night and everybody's out and about, but BPPA practicing. All right. So here we go. Here comes the break. I don't think I have a shot. So should I start with a combo? That would be interesting. Okay. I got myself over the ball. I'm not happy about it. So I'm shooting a lefty and try to draw it back. So from 10, I need to get on the 1. And it's a very tight window to get on the 4 from the 1. So, well, let's look at it and figure it out, guys. Okay, well, it's going to be really difficult to get into this spot right here. Well, let's try it. No, too much. So that could be end of my run. I don't see anything else I can do here unless take a crazy shot and try to play a combination 6-4. Let's try that. That's the only hope. We got that. So that gives us 6. I'm happy with 6. 6-ball run is awesome. I missed 2 shots like the 8-ball yesterday playing one pocket. This is my least favorite shots when the balls are so close. Kind of lose your aim here. Yep, I did the same thing. Every time I shoot it short. All right. But most likely, even if I make that, I would probably get only 1 shot after this. Yep. Not bad. 6-ball run in one pocket is not a bad deal if you control the cue ball. So not terribly bad. So here we can practice 2 rail shots, just like that. 2 rail banks. Yep, look at that. Not bad. Keep going, keep going, keep going. All right, the beauty of one pocket, Привет, Andrei. Even if I miss it here and I keep it in my pocket, I keep my opponent from offense. So he would probably go for the 6 ball. But then I hit it too hard, so I'm stuck. Okay, so what can we do here? Well, we gotta kick it. We gotta kick it 3 rails. So either make it or kick it out of there. But most likely, let's try. Oh, I hit that, but did not make it. Did not make it. Okay. So I have to make the 12 and get on the 8. So it's just a little practice, a little game that I'm playing. You know, I don't really have to re-rack and start over. I can finish this rack and start over. I was a little lazy. I didn't want to take a bridge, so don't do that. Don't do it at home. I think I can bank this 3 ball and push the 14 out of the way, so let's try that. And I sold out. I left a shot. Not a bad shot. Maybe. I don't know. Where the cue ball's going, it's going. So now I have to kick. This ball's out. I don't want to leave him or my opponent a bank. So there are a couple options. Can I bank the 3? Just for the fun of it, I think I can bank the 3 and at the same time kick the 8 out of there. Yep, that's a great shot. So I put 2 balls on my side. Can we bank this 3 ball into this pocket? Let's find out. Nope. Too thin. So that's how it goes. All right, guys, let's do another rack. I would ask you to like and subscribe this stream, please. If you want to become a member, you can do it on my channel. We're going to make some exclusive material for the members. So let's set another rack and try it again. So my previous run was 6 balls. I'm happy with it. In the real life, in the real game, 6 ball lead is amazing. But depends who you're playing, of course. If you're playing Shane Van Boening, it makes no difference how many balls you scored. It has to be 8 or you're going to lose. So it's a terrible break because my opponent has a shot. But we're not playing that today, so we're gonna just try to run out. I never ran all 15 in the same pocket. And I'm stuck. I think I'm stuck. Yep. So there you go. Terrible. No. So from there, in the real life, I would play a safety. If you watch more advanced players, they going into the rack more often, break it up, because they can control the cue ball on a far better level than me, perhaps, of course. That's a nice break. That's a very nice break. Nope. Every time you're trying to hold the stroke, because I was trying to hold the stroke for the 14, and from 14 I wanted to go to this guys. You're gonna miss it because it's very delicate. Yeah, you see, I can't hold it. And I put myself to shoot a very tough shot. Not bad if I could drop it there. If I could drop it, I would probably play a combo. Definitely would play a combo. Also in this game you learn how to play 3-ball combos and stuff like that. So it's very important. So here we go. We're getting in a position. Pretty flat here, but oh well. Yeah, didn't bounce off the rail. Well, we're gonna try to bank this 11. Nope, too wide. A little too wide. So we're playing on 9-foot diamond. This is a very tight table with a 4 1/4 or less inch pocket. So 4 1/8. So it's very tight table. Here I got an interesting situation. I almost got the 7. If they would be touching, it's pretty much 100% that 7 goes in the pocket. So I want to shoot the 1 into 7 and see if it caroms in there. So in the real game, I would know what to do. So I'm going to give it a little bit of oomph. Nope, it would not go there. So also, very big part of one pocket is banking, because a lot of times your opponent is going to leave you on the opposite side and you have to bank it. But if you know who you're playing, you're not going to leave him a bank. So this in one pocket is a pretty good situation. I missed it a little bit wide, but my opponent cannot kick it out. So usually you're going to see this. He's going to make the ball and try to leave a cue ball on the rail, so I have a hard shot. So something like that. From here, there's not much to do with playing safety. Misha, привет. I know you're my #1 fan, of course. And I just recorded a video about rules of one pocket, so I'm gonna post it a little later today. I hope you push the like button, my friend. Yeah, so we're gonna play another safety here. And very important in one pocket to leave your opponent on the rail. So what we call on the rail is this. Why? Because I cannot control cue ball anymore. The only part of the cue ball I can hit is top. So I cannot draw it. It's hard to put any English on it because my cue stick is going to be on top of that cue ball. So here you got to be very disciplined, stay down, full stroke, something like that. So that's a big part of one pocket, because if you watch my games on the channel, my opponent will shoot from here all the time, right from the rail or from this rail. As long as he cannot, this is the best because you cannot draw. So draw is very important, and it's finesse. You have to feel it. You have to work on that. So I'm gonna cut this a little short, guys, today, because it was a tough week, tough day. A lot of streams, a lot of pool. I want to make the video on one pocket and post it. Also, there are a lot of two-rail banks and zigzag banks in one pocket. Tickies. There's so many shots that there's so many things that you need to learn. Like we have a ball here, and there's no way I can get to it. I don't know, it's something like this, and I don't want to push another ball into his pocket. So here we go. So I called it ticky. I missed it, but I'm almost there. So this shot called a ticky, and there's a lot of them in one pocket. So two-rail kicks, two-rail tickies. All right, guys, I'm going to cut it short today, and I will see you tomorrow. We'll probably play 9-ball and one pocket tomorrow with Robert, my friend. So I hope you join and come back. Thanks for being with me today. Thanks for pushing that like button and subscribe button. BPPA all day, guys. All day, all day. All right, take care, everyone. I'm closing the shop. #2? No, you're #1 fan. You're #2, but you came too late. You came too late. Closing the shop already. A little tired, need some rest.